Question 8. Proponents of the electric car maintain that when the technical problems associated with its battery design are solved, such cars will be widely used and because they are emission-free will result in an abatement of the environmental degradation caused by auto emissions. But unless we dam more rivers, the electricity to charge these batteries will come from nuclear or coal-fired power plants. Each of these three power sources produces considerable environmental damage. Thus, the electric car blank. So we notice another argument completion question. Which one of the following most logically completes the argument? So again, keep in mind what we already know, that these proponents of this electric car maintain that once these technical problems are solved, these cars will be widely used, they are emission-free, and therefore will result in an abatement of the environmental degradation caused by auto emissions. However, the electricity used to charge these batteries of these electric cars will come from sources that produce considerable environmental damage. Thus, the electric car. So let's try to find an answer that logically completes this argument. So again, these are a type of must be true question, keeping in mind the information that was given to us before the blank. Let's take a look at A. Will have worse environmental consequences than its proponents may believe. Does that logically complete the argument? And you notice that it does, because the proponents are saying that when these are widely used and because they're emission-free, this will result in abatement of the environmental degradation caused by auto emissions. The problem is, however, that the electricity used to charge these batteries produces considerable environmental damage itself. Thus, the electric car will have worse environmental consequences than its proponents may believe, and A would be the correct answer. But again, let's just make sure. B will probably remain less popular than other types of cars. And you notice that we're not taking issue with the popularity of electric cars, right? The fact that they're going to be widely used if the battery design problems are solved. We're not taking issue with that. We're taking issue with the fact that the electricity to charge these batteries causes considerable environmental damage. So B does not follow. C requires that purely technical problems to be solved before it can succeed. And again, that's not the issue. That's not what this passage is about. It's not about whether we're solving these technical problems. It's even if they are solved, is it going to result in an abatement of the environmental degradation caused by auto emissions? And since the electricity used to charge these batteries causes considerable environmental damage itself, that is what we're talking about, not this idea of purely technical problems being solved. So C is out, bringing me to D will increase the total level of emissions rather than reduce it. And you notice that is too harsh. We don't know if it's going to increase it. It's possible that it's just not as big of a decrease that these proponents thought. So D is too harsh. Again, remember, these are must-be-true questions. If it follows logically, it must be true based on the information before. And it doesn't tell us whether the environmental damage caused by the electricity to charge these batteries is more than the reduction in auto emissions, right? It doesn't say anything about that. So D is too harsh. And bringing me lastly to E, will not produce a net reduction in environmental degradation. Again, we don't know. All we know is that electric cars are emission-free, and if they're widely used, clearly we're going to have a drop in environmental damage. However, the electricity used to charge these batteries causes considerable environmental damage. But again, we don't know the relative size of either of these groups, so E does not follow logically, and E would be eliminated. D and E have the same problem. It will increase, will not produce a net reduction. We don't have information about that in the passage, whereas A, much more general, much more easy to support 100%, and again, logically completes, implies that it must be true, so A would be the correct answer.